acres in New Bern, North Carolina, lies Hatteras Yachts. Hatteras was the very first production builder to complete a fiberglass yacht over 40 feet long. The company started back in 1959 in High Point. Legend has it the captain of a wooden boat had refused to take a group of local businessmen fishing for blue marlin out of Hatteras Island during a nor'easter. The challenge was soon issued to build a seaworthy vessel out of a newfangled material called fiberglass.
Willis Slane took up the challenge, came back to High Point, went to Florida, hired a very young upstart naval architect by the name of Jack Hargrave, and in March of 1960, they actually launched the first boat, first Hatteras, which was a 41 sea wide.
By building the fiberglass hull, Hatteras allowed many of its early buyers to master the adverse sea conditions that the infamous graveyard of the Atlantic had become known for. Hatteras is approaching 8,000 vessels launched since 1959, ranging in size from 28 feet all the way up to a whopping 130 feet.
All of our hulls are solid laminate.
Currently under construction is the Hatteras 80 Motor Yacht, an 80-foot-long vessel featuring the company's trademark fiberglass hull. The shape of the hull is one of Hatteras' many innovations.
We've got a convex hull shape in the bow, like a basketball. It rolls out, and when it plows into the wave, it pushes the wave to the side, as opposed to concave. If you had a concave, when it dives into the wave, it pushes the spray out, but it pounds. So this design will allow more spray on the side of the boat, but it's a softer ride.
The lamination process begins by cleaning the mold of the hull, then waxing it, and then spraying on a gel coat. The first layer of laminate is then applied and checked to make sure it's free of voids. This process is repeated between 8 and 20 times, depending on the location in the hull's bottom, and provides solid reinforcement for the hull. As lamination continues, technicians add girders that will be used for installing the engines and lifting the 18,000-pound hull out of the mold.
It's a closed-cell foam that we put in, and by adding the thickness to the laminate, we actually gain a lot of stiffness.
Once lamination has been completed, the hull is ready to be extracted from the mold. The hull of the Hatteras 80MY will be outfitted with twin Cat C32A diesel V12 engines, each delivering 1,900 horsepower for a combined total of 3,800 horses.
We try to slow the propeller down as much as possible, which leads to larger diameter propellers, which leads to excessive draft, meaning the amount of water the vessel will require to run in.
One of the things you'll notice is we have a nice deep tunnel here. In order to have a highly efficient system, you need a large diameter propeller. In order to push a large diameter propeller, if your hull bottom came across here, that propeller would be way down here, and you'd have a lot of draft, so you wouldn't be able to run the boat in shallow water where it's fun to go and dive and swim and do neat things. So in order to take that effective propeller and tuck it up into the bottom of the boat, we end up with these large tunnels.
The hull of this new Hatteras 80 Motor Yacht has been recently completed. The design enhancements that have been requested will make a nice addition to the company's already impressive line.
We have basically a bow area that was lacking some good seating. So now what we've done is we're able to add in a full set of seats, and the port lights were the standard oval port lights opening, and in doing that, redesigned the side of the boat.
The client's myriad requests also involve a flybridge enclosed in glass and a hydraulic swim platform. And let's not forget the interior.
One of the major changes down below is essentially making the port and starboard guest room as equal size.
Now his current 80 is a mahogany or cherry?
His current was a mahogany.
Mahogany.
And this is going to be a walnut.
Foregoing side decks allows for a roomy salon that spans the entire width of the yacht. The interiors will mix modern and Eastern influences. First though, there is extensive fabrication work to be done, and Hatteras does its own metalwork on site.
We essentially prefabricate all the metal parts that go on an 80 motor yacht, from engine beds and backing plates, just simple cut steel, to the electrical panel boxes. We manufacture those all in-house, right up until what you see when you stand outside a boat, and that is the external hardware, handrails and bow rails, upper deck rails.
To accomplish all this, Hatteras technicians will use a water jet device that pressurizes water up to 55,000 psi, while introducing grit into a nozzle about 30 thousandths of an inch in diameter.
The water jet, its table is 10 by 12, so we can put some pretty big pieces of material up there and work. But again, we get right down to the fine pieces that fit in the palm of your hand.
Concurrent with the metal fabrication, over at the milling center, workers are using machine saws to prepare the wood needed for building the 80MY's custom cabinets. The team will go through as many as 40 sheets of plywood per day, churning out hundreds of parts. As the interior of the 80 Motor Yacht nears completion, so too does the exterior painting.
As you can see, we're in the paint process now of pulling our fairing compounds. We'll do a primer coat, slick finish paint, do our bottom paint, as well as our boot stripe.
The Hatteras 80 Motor Yacht that's been 14 months in the making is finally ready for delivery. This custom-designed beauty sports a fabulous front seating area and a gorgeous salon with 3-panel electric sliding glass door.
One of the first things that you notice about the Hatteras 80 Motor Yacht is just the width of the salon itself. It does not have walk-around side decks. It has what's called a wide-body salon. And you can see what that actually does to the interior of the boat. It just really opens this area up, an incredible amount of space inside the boat that gives the customers a lot of freedom to do what they want to do from an interior standpoint.
From satin and walnut wall finish to custom cabinets and a dining table of Indonesian Makassar ebony, this yacht epitomizes elegance.
One of the more sought-after features once you get to a boat of this size is the ability to have what's called an on-deck or a day head. This one has been executed absolutely flawlessly. On the standard 80, this is actually a flat panel wooden door. He's taken it a step further, incorporated some glass panels here, and you'll see this feature again down in the master stateroom.
The ship's beautiful galley features many of the same amenities you'd find in your own home, along with some others you may wish you had, like a wine fridge.
This is what we've come to know as the country galley. As you can see, it's wide open, incredible visibility. You got windows forward, full sub-zero refrigeration over here. A lot of solid surface material here. This has become very, very popular in terms of how galleys are laid out. And one of the other cool features of this boat, both on the port and starboard side, is what we call a pantograph door.
Below deck, the 80MY conveys a sense of warmth and style in each of its staterooms.
You've got the side-by-side berths. You've got a lot of overhead cabinetry right here for additional storage space, and you have a port light that's now standard on the 80.
The guest bath is equally luxurious.
This is a walk-in tiled shower right here. Again, something that you wouldn't ordinarily find in the smaller stateroom on a boat. You can sleep as many as 8 people comfortably on this boat, plus 2 or 3 crew.
As fantastic as the guest quarters are, the master stateroom trumps them all. The port windows have been redesigned and covered with electric blinds, and much of the decor from the salon carried through.
The nightstands were actually made out of the same Makassar ebony wood that was utilized in the salon.
The master closets have been lined in cedar.
There's a safe up here to keep the owner's valuables in, but this right here is my favorite, right? You get a pull-out refrigerated drink box right here. And that leads us nicely into his and her master head.
And a most stylish affair it is, highlighted by a mid-bath shower and 2 separate sink areas.
And now we get up to what I think is probably the most exciting part of this entire boat, and that is the Flybridge itself.
The expansive Flybridge of the 80MY offers an array of social areas, ideal for mingling or more intimate conversations. The centerpiece is a fully equipped wet bar, guaranteed to keep guests entertained for hours.
Right here, I think, is probably the best feature of this particular bridge. You can see you got 4 bar stools right here, a really nice high-gloss long wood top bar. This is something that you wouldn't normally see on a Hatteras.
For those interested in water sports, there's easy access to a variety of options via the aft deck and its hydraulic platform. The less adventurous can enjoy the comfort and convenience of the custom bow seating area.
You have a table, it's got speakers down here. Just cruising around, this provides an excellent space to just kind of sit and take in the scenery.